In a world that never stops moving, where every second is filled with noise, notifications, and pressure, it's easy to forget what peace truly feels like. But peace isn't found in the crowd. It's found in His presence. When you take time to be still, you'll realize God never stopped speaking. We just stopped listening. He doesn't compete with the noise. He waits in the quiet. This isn't about religion or routine. It's about relationship. It's a sacred moment between you and your Creator, where your soul can finally breathe again. So today, shut out the noise, silence the distractions, because in the quiet, God speaks, heals, and restores. This is your reminder. Have a quiet time with God. Life moves fast, sometimes too fast. We wake up scrolling, rush through our routines, chase deadlines, and relentlessly fill our minds with an endless stream of noise. It's a cycle of perpetual motion, a constant state of being busy, productive, and connected. Yet, somewhere deep inside, in the quietest corners of your being, your soul whispers a simple, profound truth. I need rest. That whisper, often drowned out by the clamor of everyday life, is not just a sign of exhaustion. It is God's gentle, persistent invitation, a divine call, pulling you away from the chaos and into the sanctuary of stillness. It's an invitation to pause, to breathe, and to simply be in His presence, where true restoration is found. This call isn't demanding or forceful. It's a tender beckoning, a loving hand reaching out to guide you back to the source of all peace. It's a reminder that your worth isn't measured by your productivity, but by your identity as a beloved child of God, who desires not just your service, but your fellowship. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Take a moment to truly absorb those words. Notice how it doesn't say, do more, achieve more, or try harder. It doesn't command you to hustle or to perfect your performance. The instruction is beautifully, liberatingly simple. Be still. This isn't a suggestion for when you have free time. It's a foundational principle for a life of faith. Because it's in the stillness, away from the demanding voices of the world, that the roots of your faith can grow deep into the soil of His truth. It's in the quiet, when you intentionally tune out the distractions, that you begin to recognize His voice again, not as a distant echo, but as a clear, present, and loving guide. This is the voice that has been shepherding you all along, the one that knows your name, understands your heart, and holds your future. Stillness is the sacred space where you recalibrate your spiritual hearing, allowing His gentle guidance to become the loudest voice in your life, leading you with wisdom and unfailing love. It is the practice of positioning your heart to receive, rather than constantly striving to produce. When you make the conscious choice to step away from the incessant rush, to carve out even a few moments, and dedicate them to being with God, something truly supernatural begins to happen. The world outside, with its frantic pace and urgent demands, doesn't slow down, but your heart does. It's as if an internal anchor is dropped into a sea of calm, holding you steady amidst the turbulent waves of life. The deafening noise of your to-do list, the anxieties about the future, and the regrets of the past begin to fade into the background. And as they recede, a profound and holy peace begins to take its place, filling the spaces that were once occupied by stress and worry. This peace, the kind that surpasses all human understanding, isn't something you can manufacture on your own. It is a direct gift from the Prince of Peace himself, poured into your spirit when you create the space to receive it. It is a divine exchange. You offer him your time and attention, and he offers you his unshakable tranquility. It's crucial to understand that God isn't asking you for perfection in your quiet time. He's simply, profoundly asking for your presence. He just wants you, all of you, the tired, the messy, the uncertain, the joyful. You don't need the perfect prayer articulated with eloquent words, nor do you require the perfect worship playlist to set the mood. You don't need a flawless theological understanding or a list of accomplishments to present to him. Sometimes the most powerful and meaningful form of communion is just sitting in the quiet, in the raw honesty of the moment, and whispering with a sincere heart, "God, I'm here," and in his infinite grace and boundless love, that is more than enough. That simple act of showing up, of turning your heart toward him, is a fragrant offering. It communicates a trust and a dependence that moves his heart more than any grand gesture or eloquent speech ever could. He sees past the facade and looks directly into the core of your being, valuing your willing presence above all else. Stillness isn't weakness. It is, in fact, one of the greatest sources of spiritual strength you can cultivate. Our spiritual enemy, the adversary, thrives on chaos and distraction. He wants to keep you perpetually busy, emotionally drained, and mentally overwhelmed. Why? Because when you're constantly surrounded by noise, both external and internal, you can't hear God's direction. You can't discern his gentle nudges, his words of wisdom, or his reassurances of love. But when you deliberately slow down, when you quiet your mind from its endless spinning and open your heart in vulnerable expectation, God begins to reveal things that noise could never, ever teach you. He uncovers hidden strengths you didn't know you possessed. He provides strategies for battles you thought were unwinnable. He speaks promises over your future that silence the lies of fear and doubt. Maybe you've been praying for clarity on a major life decision, for a deep and abiding peace to settle your anxious heart, or for answers to questions that have plagued you for months, even years, and it feels like heaven is utterly silent. You cry out, and all you hear back is the echo of your own voice. It can be a lonely and disheartening place to be. But what if God isn't being quiet to ignore you or to punish you? What if the silence itself is an invitation? What if He's being quiet to draw you closer? Sometimes God quiets the world around us so that we will lean in more intently, listening not with our ears, but with our spirits. He allows the external answers to fade so that we will seek the answerer Himself. This perceived silence is not an absence of God, but an invitation into a deeper dimension of His presence, a call to move beyond seeking His hand and to start truly seeking His face. It is in this intimate, focused pursuit that our relationship with Him is forged in the fire of unwavering trust. The stillness is not empty. It is not a void or a barren wasteland. It is holy ground. It is the sacred space where divine transformation takes place. It's the spiritual workshop where your jumbled confusion is meticulously reordered into profound clarity. It's the sanctuary where the relentless chaos of your life is calmed and turned into a serene, ordered calm. It's the altar where the heavy burden of your worry is miraculously lifted and turned into a heartfelt, liberating worship. In the stillness, God does His most profound work within us. He untangles the knots in our thinking, heals the wounds in our hearts, and realigns our priorities with His eternal purposes. This quiet space is charged with His power and saturated with His love. It is the place where we are remade, renewed, and reminded of who we are and whose we are. So today, right now, accept His gracious invitation. Make a deliberate choice to respond to that gentle whisper in your soul. Turn off your phone, close your laptop, and step away from the screens that demand so much of your attention. If you can, step outside and feel the breeze on your skin. Take a deep, slow breath, filling your lungs and exhaling the stress and the hurry. And in that simple, sacred moment of quiet, just say, "Speak, Lord. I'm listening." You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to be willing. This simple prayer of surrender is one of the most powerful you can utter, as it positions you as a humble receiver of His grace, His guidance, and His love. It is an act of faith that declares your trust in His goodness and your desire for His will above your own. Because in the quiet, find not only the peace that your soul so desperately craves, but you will find something infinitely greater. The undeniable, overwhelming presence of the one who made you, who knows you completely, and who loves you most. Sometimes the hardest part about having quiet time with God is the quiet itself. You sit down to pray, but all you hear is silence. You wonder, God, are you even listening? Why can't I feel you like before? But here's the truth. Silence doesn't mean absence. In fact, silence is often how God speaks the loudest. 1 Kings 19 tells us about the prophet Elijah. He had just faced a great victory, but also great fear. He ran to the wilderness, tired and broken, asking God to speak. And when God came, He didn't come in the mighty wind, or the earthquake, or the fire. He came in a still, small voice. That's how God speaks, not through chaos, but through calm. Not in the noise of the world, but in the whisper that reaches your heart. So, if you've been praying and feel like heaven is quiet, maybe God isn't saying nothing. Maybe He's saying, "Be still. I'm teaching you to listen." Silence trains your spirit to recognize His whisper. It teaches patience, faith, and trust. Because hearing God isn't about sensitivity. It's about quieting the noise long enough to notice His presence in your day, in the peace after a prayer, in a verse that suddenly stands out, or in the comfort that washes over your heart when you least expect it. When you give God your quiet time, you give Him space to speak, and He will speak in His way and in His time. You'll begin to see signs of His voice in the smallest things. The sunrise that reminds you of new mercies. The unexpected encouragement from a friend, or the verse that feels written just for you. Don't rush the silence. Rest in it, because silence is not punishment, it's preparation. God is tuning your heart to hear Him more clearly than ever before. So next time you sit in stillness and all you hear is quiet, smile and whisper, "I know you're here." Because sometimes we live in a world that's always moving, scrolling, running, chasing, comparing. But the more we chase, the more restless we become. The truth is, you can't find peace by doing more. You find peace by being still in God's presence. Jesus said in Matthew 11:28, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Notice He didn't say, "Go fix everything first," or "get it all together." He simply said, "Come," because rest isn't just about sleep, it's about surrender. You can sleep for 10 hours and still wake up tired if your soul is carrying worry, fear, and anxiety. But when you bring your burdens to God, when you lay them down in prayer, He gives you the kind of rest that no nap, no vacation, no distraction can give. Peace that surpasses understanding. Your quiet time with God is meant to be your spiritual recharge. It's not about performing, it's about resting in His love. It's sitting in His presence and saying, "God, I don't need anything right now. I just need you." Sometimes the most powerful prayer is not a long one. It's a deep breath. It's sitting in silence and letting your heart whisper, "Lord, I'm here." When you rest in God, you're not being lazy, you're being wise. You're letting the Creator refill what the world has drained. You're exchanging your chaos for His calm. your anxiety for his assurance. Psalm 62:1 says, "Truly, my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from him." That means no person, no job, no achievement can give your soul what his presence can. So, when your mind is racing and your heart feels heavy, find a quiet place. Turn off the noise. Put your phone away. Close your eyes and breathe. Invite the Holy Spirit to meet you there. You'll be amazed how just 10 minutes of stillness can reset your spirit for the entire day. Because when you rest in God, you're declaring, "I trust you more than my worries." So today, stop running long enough to rest in his arms. We live in a world that talks too much and listens too little, even in prayer. Most of us come to God with a list, a long agenda of our wants and needs, rather than a heart that is truly ready to listen. We approach our quiet time as if it were a performance review where we do all the talking. But true quiet time isn't about saying more. It's about hearing him more clearly. It's a sacred space where our frantic monologues can finally give way to a divine dialogue. In Ecclesiastes 5:2, we're reminded, "Do not be quick with your mouth. Do not be hasty in your heart to utter anything before God." God is in heaven and you are on earth. So let your words be few. This isn't a command to be silent out of fear, but an invitation to be still in reverence. It's a gentle reminder that prayer is not a monologue, it's a conversation. And every meaningful conversation needs silence to hear the other voice. When we stop talking, when we finally cease our stream of requests and worries, we make room for God to speak. We create a space in our cluttered minds and hurried lives for his wisdom to land. Sometimes his voice doesn't come as thunder from heaven, a booming declaration that shakes the ground. It's often a whisper, quiet, gentle, but powerful enough to change everything. It's a subtle shift in our perspective, a sudden clarity amidst confusion, or a quiet assurance that calms our anxious hearts. Remember the prophet Elijah. In 1 Kings 19:12, after the powerful displays of a great wind, a devastating earthquake, and a raging fire, God wasn't in any of them. Instead, he revealed himself in a gentle whisper. This moment teaches us a profound truth. The power of God is often found not in the spectacular, but in the stillness. That's how he still speaks today. He communicates in the stillness of your heart, through the living words of Scripture that suddenly leap off the page and speak directly to your situation. He speaks through an unexplainable feeling of peace that settles over you in the middle of a storm, or through that quiet nudge in your spirit that says, "Trust me," when everything around you screams to doubt. The reason many believers don't hear God isn't because he is speaking. It is because we read too busy talking to distracted scrolling through endless feeds, or too noisy worrying about tomorrow. We simply can't hear divine direction of digital distraction and internal anxiety. So, the next time you pray, try this. Speak your heart honestly to God. Lay out your fears, your hopes, and your gratitude. Then stop. Intentionally pause and sit in the silence for a few minutes. Don't rush to fill the moment with more words or more thoughts. Let the Holy Spirit fill it instead. You may not hear an audible voice, but you'll sense His presence. You'll feel clarity rising where confusion once lived. In that sacred quiet, you might find that the solution to your problem isn't a loud answer, but a quiet strength to endure. Jesus Himself modeled this discipline of intentional silence. Mark 1:35 tells us, "Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where He prayed." Think about the significance of this. Jesus, the Son of God, the Word made flesh, made it a priority to retreat into solitude, to be silent and listen before the Father. If He, who was in perfect union with God, needed to create space for quiet communion, how much more do we need that? Our lives are filled with noise, demands, and pressures that He never faced in the same way. Yet we often neglect the very practice that sustained Him. Quiet time isn't just about pouring out your heart. It's about tuning your ear. It is the conscious act of shifting from a posture of speaking to one of listening. It's embodying the prayer of the young prophet Samuel, saying, "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening." 1 Samuel 3:10. This isn't a passive waiting, but an active, expectant listening, fully believing that God has something to say that is far more important than anything we could articulate. It is a humble admission that our plans, our wisdom, and our strength are insufficient, and that we are in desperate need of a word from our Creator. Because when you pause long enough to listen, when you dare to embrace the silence and quiet the clamor of your own soul, you'll realize something powerful. God has been speaking all along. Confusion is loud, but God's voice brings peace, not pressure. When life feels chaotic and you don't know what to do next, that's not God's silence. That's the world's noise. His voice always brings clarity, not chaos. In Psalm 32:8, God promises, "I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you." That S, not the voice of a distant God. That S, the voice of a father guiding his child. But to hear it, you have to slow down. You can't hear direction while you're running ahead of Him. Many of us pray for answers, but rush past the moment He's trying to give them. We want clarity, but we rarely create space for it. Quiet time with God isn't wasted time. It's where confusion goes to die and direction comes alive. Think about Moses at the burning bush. God didn't shout from the sky. He spoke from a flame that burned quietly. Moses had to turn aside to stop what he was doing before God spoke. Exodus 3-4. Sometimes you have to pause your pace to find your purpose. When you truly sit with God, clarity begins to form in your spirit. Not always a full picture, but the next step. He won't show you the entire map, but he'll hand you a compass, his word. Psalm 119-105 says, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." Notice, it's a lamp, not a floodlight. God doesn't always show you everything, just enough for the next step. And that's where faith comes in. Maybe right now, you're praying for an answer, a sign, a direction, and heaven feels quiet. But silence doesn't mean confusion. It might mean God is aligning the pieces before He reveals the picture. When you learn to wait in stillness, clarity will come not as a shout, but as peace in your heart. That peace is often God's yes, and that unease you feel, that's often His no. So today, instead of asking God to speak louder, ask Him to quiet your heart. Because when your mind is still, His whisper becomes clear. His voice doesn't add noise. It brings order. It turns fear into faith, chaos into calm, and confusion into confidence. The question isn't, is God speaking? The question is, am I still enough to hear Him? Peace isn't the absence of problems, it's the presence of God. In a world that constantly demands your attention, your time, your energy, peace can feel rare. But peace isn't something you chase, it's someone you sit with. True peace doesn't come from changing your situation. It comes from resting in His presence, right where you are. Isaiah 26:2-3 says, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you." Notice that perfect peace isn't a result of a perfect life. It's the fruit of a steady heart that stays focused on God. When your thoughts are anchored in His Word, the storms of life lose their power to shake you. You can still face challenges, but they won't control you. Because even when the waves rise, you know who's in the boat with you. Remember the story in Mark 4:39? The disciples were panicking as the storm raged, and Jesus simply said, "Peace, be still." The same voice that calmed the storm on the water can calm the storm inside your heart. And that's the beauty of quiet time with God. It's not just prayer, it's presence. It's sitting before the one who already knows, already understands, already holds your future. When you rest in His presence, peace stops being a feeling and becomes your foundation. So many people try to find peace in achievements, relationships, or control, but all of that fades. God's peace doesn't depend on what's happening around you. It depends on who's reigning within you. Maybe you've been restless lately, your mind racing, your heart heavy. You're praying, but it feels like your peace keeps slipping away. Friend, it's time to pause and let God breathe peace into your spirit again. You don't have to fix everything. You just have to be still. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." That verse isn't a suggestion, it's an invitation. God is saying, come away from the noise. Let me remind you that I'm still in control. When you sit quietly in His presence, you begin to see that His peace isn't fragile. It's powerful. It's the peace that steadies your soul in uncertainty, strengthens you in weakness, and silences fear with faith. So today, stop striving. Take a deep breath. You don't have to chase peace. Just return to His presence. Because peace isn't found in your plan. It's found in His hands. One of the hardest lessons in your walk with God is learning to wait well. We live in a world of instant everything. Instant food, instant messages, instant results. But God doesn't work on our clock. He works on His, and His timing is not delay, it's design. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." Not your time, not their time, His time. When you rush ahead of God, you often end up exhausted and empty. But when you wait on Him, you find strength you didn't know you had. The waiting season isn't wasted. It's the workshop of faith. Think about Abraham. God promised him a son, but it took 25 years before Isaac was born. David was anointed as king, but spent years in caves before he sat on the throne. Even Jesus waited 30 years before beginning His public ministry. Waiting isn't a punishment, it's preparation. It's where God develops your patience, deepens your trust, and strengthens your character. Isaiah 42:31 reminds us, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles." Notice, it doesn't say those who worry or those who complain, but those who wait. When you rest in His timing, you stop forcing outcomes and start trusting His orchestration. You begin to realize that His "not yet" is just as loving as His "yes." Because sometimes God delays what you want to give you what you need. Maybe you've been praying for something, a breakthrough, a healing, an answer, and it feels like heaven is quiet. Friend, don't lose hope. God's silence doesn't mean absence. He's working behind the scenes, arranging the details, aligning hearts, and preparing the right moment to bring everything together. If He gave it too soon, it might break you. But when it's in His time, it will bless you. So, instead of asking, when God, Start saying, "While I wait, I'll worship." Because worship turns waiting into peace. The next time you feel anxious about the future, remember this: God's delays are not His denials. Every season of waiting has purpose. Every not yet carries a promise. Rest in His timing, because the God who began the work in you will be faithful to complete it. Philippians 1-6. If this message spoke to your heart today, take a moment to pause and thank God right where you are. The journey of faith isn't always marked by grand miracles or booming voices from the heavens. More often, it's found in the gentle whispers, the quiet moments of reflection where you feel a profound sense of peace settle over your soul. It's in those moments of stillness that God often does His most transformative work within us, shaping our hearts, renewing our spirits, and reminding us that we are never truly alone. He is the calm in our storm, the light in our darkness, and the unwavering hope that anchors us. When the world feels overwhelming and your own strength feels insufficient, remember that His strength is made perfect in our weakness. Take a deep breath and rest in the assurance that He is with you, guiding you and loving you unconditionally through every season of your life. Let this truth sink deep into your heart today and carry you forward with renewed courage and faith. If you've ever felt His peace in your stillness, comment Amen below. Let's fill this space with faith and gratitude. Let's create a community of believers who uplift and support one another. Your testimony of His faithfulness, no matter how small it may seem, can be the very encouragement someone else needs to hear today. By sharing our experiences of God's grace, we weave a beautiful tapestry of hope that reminds us all of His constant presence and unending love. Let this comment section be a sanctuary, a place where we can collectively declare our trust in Him and celebrate the countless ways He shows up in our daily lives. Your voice matters, and your story of faith is a powerful testament to the goodness of our Heavenly Father. Let's inspire one another to keep seeking Him, to keep trusting Him, and to keep walking in the light of His love. And before you go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment of encouragement from Bible Hope. Remember, peace isn't found in the noise of the world. It's found in the presence of God. The world will always offer temporary distractions and fleeting comforts, but true, lasting peace can only be discovered in a deep and personal relationship with our Creator. It's a peace that transcends circumstances, a peace that guards your heart and mind. So, make time to sit in His presence, to listen for His voice, and to allow His love to wash over you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay blessed.